Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Waiter to Win. And an episode again as we go into, we're coming into spring now. We're in spring and the feature race season approaching one way or the other. One certainly that is approaching is the Spring Challenge towards the end of October. But prior to that, you've got the Maximum Stakes early October, which is a Kenilworth Durbanville feature. And on that note, Daryn, with Kenilworth tomorrow being around, what's the weather looking like? I know we lost a couple of meetings, hasn't been great, but are you expecting them to race?
At the moment, I do expect them to race. The weather has cleared up. We had a little drizzle of rain today, but it has cleared up overall. The track's still going to be quite sticky for the next couple of weeks, but I'm sure racing will go ahead if the weather stays this way. And then I also want to mention to viewers and punters about this time of year, horses get vaccinated for African horse sickness. And it's probably the toughest time of year to make money consistently. Horses have a little dip in form, sometimes run one or two runs below par and then return to best form. And like in the past 2 weeks, I've labeled 3 horses and they've all come unstuck. And it's obviously due to the vaccinations taking place. So we just got to be aware of that at this time of year from mid-August to mid-October.
Good, very, very good point. Yeah, horses are being vaccinated now, or have been, and it does take them perhaps 2-3 weeks to recover. And it is something certainly to look out. And also, the going at this time of the year, depending where you're punting, but certainly on the half veld, Darryl, the going's hard. I mean, we watched on Thursday, Turffontein on Saturday, I think just about everything went to the front and won. The track is fast, the track is hard. These are factors that you have to take into consideration.
Absolutely, Clyde. But you know what? Tomorrow looks like a very punter-friendly card. There's some quality sort stepping out. We're just waiting for the first official reins. We've had a split here and there, but I just can't wait for the decent horses to start stepping out for the season, because that's when we really want to get involved. Like Daryn touched on, this is a difficult time for punters. They have to tread warily because of circumstances. But tomorrow, I think we're gonna strike it, and we're gonna go into the season on a high note.
Okay, well, that's great news. Well, that's good to know. Let's get straight into it then. So as far as Turffontein go, so with it being a heavy track at Kenilworth, we decided we're not going to go into that. So we're going to stay with Turffontein and have a look at the Turffontein card. These are the 2 scratchings thus far, in the 4th race, number 4, and in the 5th race, number 6. That's what we've got. I don't know, Darryl, if you've got any update on Joburg, if that's the latest information.
That appears to be the latest before going on air, yeah.
And then that fast rail is set out at 9 meters on the spur. So I think similar to Thursday, they came for home. That spur was wide, turning for home. And I'm not sure of scarification. It would normally have started by now on the outside track, unless there's one more meeting to come. I haven't checked. But it's normally around middle September to the end of October before the Charity Mile meeting, where we stay on the inside track at Turffontein now for the next 6 to 7 weeks. And so that track is, it handles it well, but you need to keep that in mind as well. So the false rail will vary from race meeting to race meeting is the point I'm making. What have they irrigated? I haven't checked, sorry. Irrigation in the last 7 days, 6 mils. Last 7 days, 24. The last 24 hours, 6. The pen is 20. Okay. All right, well, let's get straight into the Pick6. Darryl, I'll start with you. And they've got this horse Savaya, 6-10 odds-on favourite to win the opening leg of the Pick6. Will it be? Is that the start of the day? Is that how we play our Pick6?
On paper, Clyde, this is a pointer. It's a penalty kick. He's only had 2 starts. He's got so much scope for improvements. He holds his biggest rival on form by 4 lengths. And on that occasion, last time out, it got a little bit tight for him at a vital stage in the race. So if all goes well in the running of the race and he doesn't run flat second run after rest, he really should be home and hosed, and he's probably as close to as the best bet on the card. But in saying that, he isn't a 6-10 shot. I think he'll get closer to even money come race time. So if I had to give some advice to the punters, just wait till closer to race time before you have a bet. But I do believe he'll take a lot of beating. Understated, what you see is what you get. He's had so many chances and he's disappointed in the past. He's held on form. He really shouldn't be able to reverse there's no reason he should be able to reverse the form with the favourites. And then the others haven't done enough to warrant winning claims. Lindsay's legacy, last time he put a very poor effort in, and you can't fancy him on that effort. So for me, the favourite very hard to beat, and the start of multiples for the day.
Okay, hard to beat. We're not going to look past that. We might get even money. Darren, you agree with that? Do you think this horse is going to drift and we might get a better price?
Well, there's not too much that can punt in the race against him. I don't see much form in the race, so I'm not too sure what price he'll go race time. But he really does look the right horse. He looks a banker, a very good second run. He stays all day. He does hold Understated by 4 lengths. There's a kilo swing in the weights, but Understated is very one-paced, and he would have stood a better chance over a little bit further. He comes off at the 400-meter mark. They let him go, and he just stays on the same pace. He's a bit of a plodder. So Zavia on that second start, I do believe that he will take a lot of beating, and we are bankering him in the Pick6.
Okay, hard to beat. Zavia it is, and that's for Michael Azzi and Jenna Schwartz. I see the Azzies are involved with our friend Mr. Lee, Steve Lee, as well. So that looks hard to beat. Race number 5 on the card. Let's go straight to that now and take a look at the first leg of the jackpot. This is another maiden, and it is for the fillies and mares in the event. And they've got here Arizona Lady and Capistel at joint favourites at 18-10, 5 Global Louise at 4-1, and 7 Zazu 4-1, 9-1 and better about the others in the race. So from a market perspective, Darren, it appears to be the two that are dominating the betting. Is that correct?
Yes, I see Arizona Lady. I'm surprised she's joint favourite, to be honest. I mean, she's had many chances. She's been a beaten favourite on many occasions. And now going the 2200-meter trip. On form, I don't like her. I favour the 3-year-olds. My first choice being Zazu, number 7. The Dam Zandra, it actually makes this a half sister to Ali Bon Dubai, who won over 3,200 meters, and also related to Zero Rate, who stays 2,200 meters. So on the Dam side, the stamina is there and should relish the trip. And I think she holds the strongest form in the race, being beaten by Bold Act with 3 direct winners out of that race, and then 6 lengths to Splash of Green. So Zazu, a narrow first choice over Capistel, who should also relish the trip. Going up in trip, the blinkers are back off. And then Global Louise, who's actually a half sister to Balance Sheet, who won the Lonsdale and second in the Gold Cup. So on pedigree, she should also relish the trip. So I'm going 7, 4, and 5. I'm favouring the 3-year-olds against the older horses.
Okay, Zazu, that's an interesting choice. She's 4-1. Darryl, what's your first choice?
Yeah, Clyde, I see it the same as Darren, except for just in a different order. I really favour the 3-year-olds over here. I'm very tired of Arizona Lady. I don't want to even mention her because she's been costly to follow in the past. And then Intercity is very, very moderate, but at least we can have a pace in the race because she likes to go up front and make a decent pace. I think Capistel, you can just put a line through her last part, Clyde. You know, they went very, very slow. She had the blinkers on. She was overdoing it, and she was caught wide. And that was her second run after rest. I actually make this a tourist race. I think between Capistel and Zazu, Darren touched on the staying blood of Zazu. There's no doubt she's going to be more effective over the trip. But why I'm favouring Capistel is because she's having her peak run. She's having her 3rd run after a layoff, whereas Zazu is returning from a layoff. So I think come the final 200 meters, her fitness is really going to get over the line. I'm not saying she's going to be a better filly in time to come, but tomorrow, based on tomorrow's factors, I think Capistel is very, very hard to beat, and she's my second leg of the double. And personally, I'm going bank to bank in the Pick6.
Okay. So you're going Michael Lazzie the first 2 legs, basically.
Absolutely.
That's your play. All right, and
That's my plan.
Daryn likes Zazu. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I think going forward, I made a recommendation to the team. What I think, and the viewers might want to give us their views when they comment on the channel, is that perhaps we should have different Pick6s. One from Daryn, one from Darryl, and then the weighted to win Pick6. Because sometimes you can't always agree, and it's difficult when you have to, you deliver a Pick6 from the weighted to win team, and there's 3 different opinions. I mean, how do you put all of that into one basket? It's not easy. So
it certainly has cost us on a number of occasions, because we can't come on here and tip a 20 grand Pick6, because that's what it basically comes to when we put up both our numbers together. So we shorten, and unfortunately, it's just happened on numerous occasions, like I've said, that we've gone shorter in the legs that have cost us. So that could be an idea, Clyde.
I think so, Darryl. I think, you know what? So what if you've got 2 or 3 Pick6 up there? You're going to spend 10% of Pick6 anyway. So rather than spending 500 rand, you're going to spend 150 a piece. Doesn't matter. And it gives you an opportunity or a variety, I think, for punters to decide what they want to do. So Paul Peter's been in very good stable, in good form at the moment. And of course, so is Sean Terry. I mean, they're having their winners and they dominate the market here with Full Velocity and Big Burn, Darryl. And I spoke to Paul Peter, and he did say to me that Big Burn's got a very, very big winning chance. They like it very, very much. The stable is confident that they'll run a huge race. So, but it's a toss-up, is it not, Darryl, between the two, or is there more? Is there something else in here?
Clyde, it's Full Velocity. Excuse me. Full Velocity is in cracking form, and she's no doubt going about her business the right way. Last time out, I think the margin doesn't do any favors. You know, she never got cover on that occasion. She was racing all alone down the inside, and she still got the job done. Now, come tomorrow, I think Big Burn with her lightning speed is going to be out up front, and Full Velocity is going to get some cover, and it will be no shock to see her run her down, because she's certainly got ability. But Big Burn, the stable's confident, and you have to read into that, because they've got a line through Greens, who finished alongside Full Velocity last time out. So if they say Big Burn's got a very big chance, you have to sit up and take notice. She had a very decent sort just behind her last time out, and it was, I think, 7.5 lengths back to the third horse, who was Princess Cash, who won her maiden by 6.5 lengths. So the form is looking very strong. My only concern is the drop to 6 furlongs. I don't know if that's a negative, but her lightning early speed will certainly be in her favor. So I think it's a 2-horse race between Big Bird and Full Velocity. I don't really want to separate them. And then Lucy in the Sky, I know she's always thereabouts, but she is 3.5 kilograms under sufferance. And then a horse like Thumbs Up, I'm willing to take her on come tomorrow, because she's won her races in very small fields. Things have gone away, and she's gone up a lot in the ratings, and she's returning from her layoff. So for me, I'm focusing on Big Burn and Full Velocity. And as a punter, I think you can take as many exactors as possible.
Okay, so it's a 2-horse race for you. Daryn, would it be the same, or are you going wider?
Yes, I believe it's a 2-horse race. I think Big Burn is probably one of the best bets on the card.
Okay.
She's a progressive 3-year-old filly. The time she did get beat by Supreme Quest, she pulled too hard and she had a wide draw to overcome, and she found nothing the final 200. The pace is going to be on the inside track over 1,200 meters. It's going to suit her. From a 5 draw, I see her sitting second, third, maybe one off the fence. And I think she's got a great turn of foot come the final 300 meters. I think she's got a lot more to come. I think she's probably in a slightly higher division than Full Velocity, but it is hard to say at this stage of her career. I make her the horse to beat, and Full Velocity, very consistent. She takes a little jump in class now, but she might be up for it.
Okay, so at the end of the day, what are we dealing with here? The 2 of them, and I'm not sure if there's anything else in there. From a Pick6 perspective, we only went 2 horses, or did we go wider?
You don't need to look further than the top two, Clyde. Personally, I'll be shocked to see anything other than the top two one. I think there'll be a good couple of lengths clear come the final furlong.
Okay, excellent. All right, that takes care of the ladies' stakes. Let's go to race 7 on the card right now, and this is the Spring Spree Stakes, and it's run over 1,200 meters, where Puttamanzano is the favourite at 5-2. Number 4, Willow Express, is 15-4, or 7-2, or thereabouts. Number 7 on the card, trading at 9 is at 9-2, and the 6 Vazim at 5-1. And then you've got 13-2, number 5, Rapid Fire, and the 3 Chimes at 15-2, 9 or 10-1, and better about the other. Seems there's some talented horses in here. I mean, one in particular for me that he's got a hell of a lot of weight to carry is Mr. Flood. But I know their ability. Puttamanzano, Willow Express, what's like Willow Express, talented, lots of ability. So Daryn, it seems to be quite a competitive race.
Yes, it is a very competitive race, and we're not taking any chances in the Pick6. We've actually thrown in the whole field. The favorite Puttamanzano, he's a big horse. He takes time to unwind, and the 1,200 could catch him out. He did win on debut over 1,200. It was a dead heat on that occasion. So people looking into their race cards and seeing he won by 5.5 lengths over 1,200, that's not true. He got up to share, and I think the horse that dead heated with him was disqualified or something to that extent, and it shows 5.5 length winner. But he is better over a lot further. Willow Express.
Sorry. Let me stop you. Let me just stop you there. Are we talking about Puttamanzano's debut run where they dead heated?
Yes.
And you're saying the computer form is showing that he won by 5 lengths?
Yes.
5.5 lengths back to the 3rd place runner.
Okay. So it's not that he. So the third horse was Trattatoria, not okay. So I'm with you now. I've got you. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that, Daryn. Yeah.
And then Willow Express, most effective over 1,400, but he's going to have no problem over the 1,200. The speed's going to be on. The blinkers are fitted to sharpen him up. He should be right there. Then Vasim and Visaway. If you go back to that run behind Garden Party, there's a 4 kilo swing in favor of Visaway. So it brings them very close together. Vasim is in form, running full of confidence. He's back to his best. They must go in, and another horse to consider is Chief of State at the bottom of the weights.
Okay. That mustn't be left out of the Pick6. It's a tough race, Darryl.
A very tough race. The class act, well, obviously there's 2 class acts, Mr. Flood, but he's not really at his best recently. So it's hard to fancy him, but we have thrown him into the Pick6. And Puttamanzano, I think this is just a pipe opener to the season for him. I think they've got much bigger fish to fry. And to see him win over 1,200 against a very decent field like he takes on tomorrow will be a little bit surprising personally. But they've put a set of blinkers on him to sharpen him up. So one never knows. Maybe he runs fresh and he gets the job done. But I'm willing to take him on, especially at his current odds. I think he's going to drift off the boards. I like the look of number 7, Visaway. Now, he returned to form last time out and he did it quite comfortably. That form line has been franked. We've seen quite a trip and Captain Hindsight win from that form line. And just look at his course and distance form. I think he's 2 from 3. The pace is certainly going to suit him. He's able to just slid off the pace and he's got a nice turn of foot. So I wouldn't be shocked to see the Aussies have a treble on tomorrow's card. He's going to be our first pick. And then Chief of State. He's super fit. 52 kgs to shoulder. He's very quick, stronger handling in the irons. He's going to be up front, giving his best again come tomorrow. So he's going to be my second pick. And then Vasim, I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to get to the front from the wide draw around the bend. But you know what? He's in cracking form for his new yard. You certainly can't discount his chances. So the race is certainly very competitive. If I had to mount my colours to the mast, I'm going to lead with Visaway as my first pick.
Okay. So it sounds, from what I'm hearing now, Michael Azzi so far a big day. Paul Peter, I think, going to have a big day. and obviously Sean Carey. It might end up with those three.
Yeah,
Probably
I
will.
wouldn't be surprised. Let's hope.
Well, look, I mean, here's Johan van Vierenshaus in the next race, the second base, who's top of the boards at even money to win this Pinnacle Stakes over 1,800 meters. And those who don't know, with the Pinnacle Stakes, it's based on bench. You get a benchmark, so you get your base weight on your benchmark. So if you're 122, 120, 122, you end up carrying 62. And then between 117 and below, you end up carrying 60. And then like a 111, 112, you end up carrying 56 or 57. And so it moves all the way down. So it's basically, once again, compressed, depending on your rating, and anything that's mapped out in that sector carries that weight. And that's how Pinnacle Stake works. So second base is even money. He's carrying the 60 kilos off a net rating. At this time of the year, they get the £4. And the Sound of Summer 15 to 10 is the second favorite, in receipt thereof of what is it, 10 kilos or something to that effect. We'll have a look, or 8 or 10 kilos, or how many pounds. We'll get into the basics shortly. And then you've got Golden Peasant at 5 to 1. Smallish field, if you want to call it that, but talented horses. And it's interesting. Paul, whom I asked about Sound of Summer, that's his best on the day. That's their first choice. They respect second base. I mean, there's a Group 1 horse, Darryl. So, it's not completely cut and dried, because it's not that easy. However, there's a lot of weight between the two. On the ratings, Darryl, and you can help us here, but second base is a 122, Sound of Summer is a 99. So what are you effectively talking? He should be getting what? 10, 11 kilos, and he's getting 60 less 52. He's getting 8 kilos. So you should actually be getting 2 or 3 more kilos if ratings were anything to go by. If this was a handicap.
Yeah, Clyde, but you know what? The son of Silvano is clearly ahead of the handicapper. And I was super impressed with his last win. It was the first time Gavin Lorena had ridden him in a race. And I actually think that he caught Gavin by surprise with his turn of foot. Because at the 400 or at the 500, he had already hit the front. And although he came under pressure in the final 50, he had the job done a long way from home. So I'll be very, very shocked to see the horses, although they waited to reverse the form with him, I'll be very shocked if they're capable of doing that, because he's on the upgrade, whereas a horse like Green Haze, I know he's waited to reverse the form. Green Haze is a 6-year-old who hasn't won for 550 odd days. I really think Sound of Summer's got a lot more to offer. And then a horse like Golden Pheasant, he's a 7-year-old. That was a cracking effort for his new yard last time out. But I just think the way Sound of Summer turned it on last time out, back on the inside track, with 52 kilograms, is going to take a power beating. I know at the ratings, he's got his work cut out with second base, but fitness and receiving 8 kilograms, I think I'm going to tip him first as my first pick come tomorrow. I've got healthy respect for the class act in the race. He falls in the same category as Puerto Manzana. He's the class act. He's got bigger fish to fry. But in his favor, he's running over a distance that is very, very effective over. And even over this course, that's certainly in his favor too. I mean, he's run cracking runs on the inside track. And look at his form last time out. He was really on the boil for a long, long time last season, and he only finished two lengths behind Commentator. So he was right alongside the best of his generation. He's a very, very good horse, his second base. So it certainly won't be a surprise to see him win, having his first start for the season. But I'm leaning towards Sound of Summer because he's an up-and-coming sort, and he's got fitness on his side. So Sound of Summer to win from second base. And you know what? Lawrence Werner's had a treble during the week. I think he'll notch up another one come the 8th race tomorrow.
He's having a very good run, Lawrence Werner, as well, done to him. Daryn, so what do you make of it? I want to ask you, the pace is, the track is hard and fast. We know that. Thursday, they were going to the front, and if you weren't in the first two, predominantly the first two, you were in trouble. It's a small field, I suppose, so they may go slow early or not. I don't know. How do you see this race being mapped out from the jump?
Well, I see Orpheus being the front runner in the race. He likes to go flat out. so he'll make the pace good. And then horses like Sound of Summer, if he can sit third, fourth, alongside second base, a couple of lengths off them, with 52 kilos, I make Sound of Summer the next best bet on the card. He receives 8 kilos from second base. He's racing fit, where second base hasn't run since the 29th of May. And I think he's much better than his rating suggests. And also, he's going to love the 1,800-meter trip. On pedigree, he should be best over 18, 2,000, and even further. So the up-and-coming Sound of Summer, for me, I'm expecting him to win and win well from second base, who loves this course. He's won 3 out of 4 at this course, and he should be competitive as he always is. I don't see much else getting into the race.
Okay. Those are the two. Sound of Summer, the one to beat, and second base, in all probability, the only danger. The 9th race on the card sees the Paul Peter stable top of the boards in Aurora Light. He said it has to go in. I asked him about the runners in the 9th. He said, don't leave them out the exotic. He said, Clyde, in fact, do me a favor. Those are my best 2, Sound of Summer in that order, ahead of Big Burn. He says, but the others, put them in the pick 6. My horses, they're all going out as they do. They try their best, and don't leave them out of the exotics. So Aurora Light's top of the boards, Daryn, at 2-1. And we're talking about a handicap again at the 66 level, which allows for it to be as open as you like, really speaking. And when you've got a filly like Aurora Light, what are we talking? A 3-year-old filly. She's got a shoulder 62 on her back. In an E division, again, I refer to the E divisions because that's what they are, the 66ers. They can't argue with them. It can't be that easy, the race. I mean, I'm assuming it's a tough race, Daryn.
Yes, for sure. We've actually gone the whole field in the pick 6 as it wasn't a big perm. The favorite Aurora Light, she's only recently turned 3. She's got to take on older company at Colson Goldings too. And with 62 kilos, I'm playing to beat her. I really don't. If she does win, she's got a little bit of class about her, but she's only won a Work Rider Maiden and then placed 4 out of 5 behind Sheila. So she's got it all to do. The other filly, Rosara, also won a week maiden and then was placed second behind See My Vision, but has 59 kilos to shoulder. Also a lot to do. Others to consider, I liked a bit of Life Goes On. He's drawn 8. His first run back in the high fault was a good run. His ratings dropped down to a competitive mark. He should be thereabouts. Another one to consider is Ramsey. He cracks a 1 draw, and on his best form, he can be competitive. And then another to consider, Love Lies. Ran against Captain Morisco. Bella Chica has taken on a little bit stronger of late and claims 2.5 kilos from a good draw. And then Madame Patrice, whose rating is right down, has been a little bit disappointing, but in this sort of lineup can be thereabouts.
Okay, hard. So what are your first 3, or your first 2, Daryn, for the quartets?
Probably 9, 2, and 6.
9. So Manga Kamala, eh? 9, 2, and 6. We're going with that, eh? Because this quartet can end up paying money, 9, 2, 6. Darryl, how do you see it?
Yeah, Clyde, the favorite doesn't represent any value whatsoever. The market will change drastically come race time.
Who's pricing up, Darryl? Who's pricing up? Where's the market coming from?
Well, Clyde, you know what? Paul Peter and Warren Kennedy, whatever they step out, he's super fit. They go out trying, and a lot of them are getting better and they're coming home. So I'm sure bookies are a little bit wary when it comes to the Paul Peter yard. But come race time, I think she's going to drift. Just my personal opinion. I could be hopelessly wrong, but right now she doesn't represent the value in the race. I thought the value in the race is no doubt Ramsey. I know he's not one to rely on, but on his best form, he's very capable of winning a race like this. Last time he had excuses, and he's 3.5 kilograms better off with Rosara, so I think he's going to get much closer, if not reverse that form. I also like the look of Love. Life Goes On. You have to take note of anything that Clinton Binder saddles at the moment. His stable is super, super well, And like Daryn touched on, he's down to a very competitive mark over here. So he's certainly one of my shortlisted horses. And then the race is wide open thereafter. But if I have to look for some value in the race, it would certainly be Ramsey.
Okay, well, that's interesting. You both found Ramsey, eh? And Grant Maroon's having a bit of a run. Eh?
Float 6 and 9 in the quartet with the field.
Yeah, that could work. There's an opportunity for us. I hope our viewers are listening. I'm sure they are. 6 and 9 double floaters maybe in the quartets. We haven't got that as one of your bets, but that's why it's important. You know, a lot of the guys watch the show and they go straight to the tips, and then that's where they end. But it doesn't help because a lot of the winners are found in the discussion. It's not necessarily in the black and white or the print of the show. Here's the bar pot, guys, that you put together for $180, starting up in race number 2. It appears from the way you've put it together that it's more competitive than what it looks. And it's going to cost you 180 Rand, that bar pot. And then the Pick6, as you know, we're starting with the Michael Azzi stable. We are prepared to bank up. We're going 2 horse race in the middle of the stages, so to speak, the 6th race. And then field, 2 horses, field. We're covering with Sounds of Summer because that Group 1 horse second base is in. Am I right? The 1 and 5, eh?
Yeah, it would be foolish to go out the Pick6 over there, Clyde, because second base he's rated to 1. I mean, he's a cracking horse. And you know what? The rest might have done him the world of good because he was on the boil for a long, long time last season, and he not once did he ever disgrace himself. So he's a top horse.
Darryl, just let me go back quickly. Race 5. You said you were going to bank which this was Capestel, eh?
Personally, my personal Pick6, I'm going to bank the banker.
Yeah, okay. So if we go back there, that's your banker over there, number 4. You see, that's why I think we should start. What we need to start doing is the individual Pick6s as well. But that's 1,056 Rand per. And that takes us to the best bets, where Daryn comes in the play. And Daryn, in your Pick6, you'll probably end up bankering in the 3rd leg. You'll bank a Big Burn.
Yeah, I might take another perm with Banker, Big Burn, Banker, Sound of Summer. It is the Paul Peter Kennedy double. I do fancy them both quite strong. They look to have one danger, both of them, in each of their races, but we'll take them on, and the double works out 7 to 1.
7 to 1, nice double. Okay, Darryl, your turn.
Yeah, Darren's in the Paul Peter camp. I like them as well. I'm in favor of those 2, but I'm going with Michael Azzi come tomorrow. I think they'll both win quite comfortably. I'm taking that double, and not only am I taking the double, I'm taking the Pick6 banker. So all my eggs are in one basket, Clyde, and just holding thumbs that we in the winning queue come tomorrow afternoon.
So you should get, based on what you're telling me, you should get 40 to 1, Big Burn, Sound of Some. What order are they in? You should get Savaya, Capestel, Big Burn, Sound of. You should get 40 to 1 if you decide to go all 4. Which means if you went all 4 of the places, I'm just curious to know if they were offering you 40 to 1 the win or 35 to 1 the win. You should get 5 to 1 the places all 4. Darryl, am I right?
No, never, Clyde. You'll
Why
probably
not?
be lucky to get 5 to 2 because they're in very small fields, and it's basically they like 1 to 5, 1 to 6 a place. So.
Right, so the odds-ons, eh? So we'll leave that. We go for the wins then, if that's the case.
You might only get 2 to 1 if I think about it.
All 4 horses, all right. Well, the weighted to win double for our viewers out there, what have we got? Savaya at 6 to 10. That's Darryl and Darren's best bets. Darryl being race 4, number 6, and Daryn going with Big Burn. And it's 4 to 1, but you know what? Always ask if you have to. For the stretch, you might get 9 to 2 the double. I'm sticking with Sound of Summer. That for me is the best bet on the card. I personally think that's the best horse in Paul's stable. My humble view. He didn't say that to me, but that's just my personal opinion. And I think very hard to beat on the day. Okay, that's it. Friday night it is. Yes, Darryl.
Have you forgot about a horse called Catch-22?
No, listen, you've got some very nice horses. They've got very nice horses, but I think, you know what, I think this is a top horse. And I saw a very good horse run on Thursday.
Yes.
That's 1-2 from 2 as well. So yeah.
That's a very nice horse. And I believe Kennedy's very excited to stay with him for the season.
Yeah, I believe he's 30 winners. He's already 30 clear or something, Warren Kennedy. So he's flying, isn't he? Or something like that. So I was told.
Yeah. You know, Clyde, Paul Peter's horses, like I said, they're extremely fit. Warren Kennedy does a great job in placing them, and that's half the job won. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we look forward to a good card. Daryn, thank you for your time. Is there a Shruti in Cape Town now that you're on the line? Is there anything out there we might have to look for? One particular double-figured horse that if they do race, maybe there is something. I don't want to put you on the spot.
There's a horse called Miss Smarty Pants. It's cut down to quite a small field. She is trading at 14-1. She's a 7-year-old, but her rating's right down to a winning mark with bottom weight, and I'm hoping she has one more in the tank.
Darryl, Miss Smarty Pants, Darryl?
Yeah. So okay. You know what, Clyde?
Thanks, guys.
We'll take, maybe I'll take my two onto Miss Smarty Pants a place as an extra.
There we go. We're looking for the place money. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. All the best to you all. Eh?
Thanks, guys.